Hello, may I ask who you're looking for?
Good afternoon. My name is. I was trying to see if I could please speak with Miss Jennifer Nason.
My name isn't Jennifer. I think you have the wrong number.
Okay, so this isn't Jennifer Nason's residence then. Okay.
No, this is Bill
Thank
Gates.
Thank you so much for your time.
Bill Gates.
Okay.
Bill Gates, thank you. Bye. Bill Gates.
Thank you for your time.
Bill Gates.
Goodbye, sir.
Bill Gates.
Skip it up and that up.
So you may know this, and I know this, and your dad probably knows this, and the bird knows this, is that game preservation is important. I think people grossly understate that, and that's why there is industries, at least niche industries, that thrive, like from Analog, where they recreate consoles like the SNES, Sega Genesis. They have the Analog Pocket, which is what is going on with me with gas today? The Analog Pocket, which is essentially a high-end Game Boy with a gorgeous screen, which you can emulate plenty of.
You blew it.
Which can emulate plenty of consoles, not just the Game Boy, and they're not actually emulation. The Analog products are FPGA. Field Programmable Gate Array, which means that they don't actually emulate the consoles that they're trying to be. They simulate them, and it's more like the actual hardware. Point being, I'm not a spokesperson for Analog, even though I sure as hell sound like one. People love these older games. It's not just nostalgia. There is entertainment to be had. Go back and play Streets of Rage 2 or any Streets of Rage game for that matter, and tell me those aren't still enjoyable. Doesn't matter what they look like. But the industry seems to forget that, and they're not really too concerned about preservation unless they could just resell you the game at a higher resolution and say they remastered it and get another $50 out of you. Then they love preservation. And with us going towards this all-digital future where a majority of games are being purchased, the lion's share of games are being purchased digitally, and places like Best Buy where physical games are on the chopping block. It was a rumor that they were actually just getting rid of physical media altogether, but that ended up not being true. However, Walmart is going to stop selling Xbox physical games. So game preservation is important, especially with the age that we're going into where everything may just become digital. And former PlayStation boss Sean Layden sounded the alarm, because if we don't preserve these games that a lot of people work very hard on, we're screwed. And I just did say hard on. I also said we're screwed too. I made jokes without even trying. Corny ones, but whatever. This is what he had to say while he was on the LAN Parties podcast. Preservation is important. I'm hoping that more people in the industry, certainly big players, begin to realize that there's an obligation and responsibility. This isn't throwaway stuff we're making. This is stuff that should be around for a long time because future generations will enjoy it in the same way that we have. And it's criminal that we're not doing more to protect it. Alan Wake 2, for example, I didn't even realize this only launched digitally. You can't get it physically. But I'll counter that argument that people are making with, if they had a physical boxed version of Alan Wake 2, let's keep it real. What would be on that goddamn disc? Physical media already is dead, so Sean Layden sounding the alarm is absolutely necessary. Where are these games going to go? If they're just in servers somewhere that we're downloading these games to our hard drives or just playing them in the cloud, what happens when companies go out of business or software becomes very old and we don't have access to it anymore? Where are we going to get these games? Does that mean that they just disappear and go off and turn into vapor? Because right now, that's the trajectory we're on. And it is alarming. I always guess it is a pirated card of Sega Genesis games. But hey, when I started seeing companies not give a crap about game preservation, I was like, you know what, I'm buying one of these. And here, I have these games here. If the license between whatever games are on here and Sega, which Sega is no longer a console manufacturer, if some kind of dispute happens, guess what? Doesn't matter. I have a physical copy. They can't pull the ROM off of here of that game. That's also why I've got back into mini disc. I mentioned this in another video. That's an audio format, mini disc. Look it up. It's legendary. Because if I like a song on Spotify or on Apple Music, I want to be able to listen to it even if the label and Spotify have a fallout. That does happen where licensing disputes happen and songs disappear from those platforms. And it sucks because I still want to listen to them. So I'm like, you know what? I'm making my own physical copies of these songs that I pay monthly for these services for. It sucks that physical media is going away. And it's like, I feel like even though we're paying, they're just going to piecemeal us what we want and then take it away. Just like those songs I was talking about. Yes, there's a lot of conveniences to digital distribution, and when it becomes more feasible and lag-free cloud gaming, but there's also way too many drawbacks. And I don't want to see games that were great just disappear because they weren't preserved because they were simply sold digitally. Like Alan Wake 2. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.
Effective immediately. Effective immediately.
Effective immediately. Effective